This week objectives, sorry, it's to prepare financial statements for sole proprietors. That's for you to understand how it's been done in business. Obviously, we will learn how to record expenses and income that you already know, the basics, how to record and track profitability, how it's been done in the income statement, and obviously get your net profit or net loss. And obviously understanding the financial accounting cycle. And we have in here what is the problem where we can find Arturo, and Arturo is giving Sebastian its financial statements. And obviously the first question of Arturo is, how do you prepare them, right? And what Arturo is doing, it's describing the accounting cycle of to Sebastian. And who knows what is the accounting cycle? Who can briefly explain me the accounting cycle?
Collect data, stage recording and transferring, and then finalizing stage. And it's in the presentation.
This is what your accountant should do, guys.
Okay, I don't know.
What your accountants will do. You will contract your accountants, right? Does anybody needs accountants in your life?
Depending on the outcome of this class.
for sure, it won't depend on that. So, actually, there's a law for that, no? We need to have a compliance with tax purposes, right? Does anybody will need an accountant? Why do everybody needs an accountant? Do you know what are the type of income that you will be receiving? What if you are an employee? Do you need an accountant?
Well, I need an accountant so that I can register my income as persona moral. So he like manages everything.
Yeah, for sure.
Like,
and
regarding
not
like taxation, for the paying of taxes, he is in charge of it.
The mainly purpose it's for taxes, in order to comply with taxes. But even as an employee, where you only earn your wages, I for sure encourage you to have an accountant, because at the end, the accountant will tell you which expenditures you will be able to to make them deductible in order for you to pay less taxes. Maybe you pay at the first at the accountant, but at the end you will save in taxes. Obviously, try to find a good accountant. So the importance of the accounting cycle, and this is focused towards your own business or yourself, or if you're an employee in a company, you will get to know how it's been done, that accounting cycle, because this is the process that everybody follows in order to submit the accounting information or the financial information for your CFO, for your CEO, etc., or for you as owners of your own company. Okay, and the first stage of the accounting cycle is the stage of collecting data. Who can tell me what's the stage of collecting data? What is the source of the data or the data for accounting? Where do we start accounting? Who can tell me? Somebody that doesn't have their video cam turned on. Dalila? No?
You collect it from the statements, the financial statements.
No, your accounting, your financial statements will be the final product of this process. But what's the source of the accounting?
The business.
Okay, cash, and the business. Yeah, the business is it's the first thing that we need to have. But at the end, what the business do, or what's the current activity that they do in order for you to have an accounting transaction? Operations. Okay, perfect. But how those operations are translated into accounting? what will be your support? No, that's the first question.
Invoices, perhaps.
Okay, so we're getting closer. So the first thing is that the business have operations, and those operations are translated into financial accounting purposes. And remember, and that's why we start the accounting cycle with the stage of collecting data, because obviously we need to know what is the source of it. And as remember that I told you that each transaction need to have a support, because imagine that somebody invested in your company. So the obvious procedure for the investor is to request an audit, right? I want to know from a third party that you are doing proper business with my money. Do we agree until that? And that's why
Yes.
that's the purpose of the audit procedures. The ones that request the audit usually are the investors, because it's a third party, a professional third party that can tell me an opinion of that what you are doing and recording, it's aligned with the investors' goals or what they obviously contracted. So the first thing is to have the source documents, right? Documentary evidence for each transaction. So you have the transaction per se, what you did on an operative level, like I paid for a MOG. That's an operation. For office supplies, if you want, or maybe if it's a cost of goods sold. But per se, the transaction only, it's not sufficient for recording. You need to have a documentary evidence, because at the end, I'm telling you that the investor can contract an audit procedure, but it's even requested by law, by the IRS and the Hacienda and the federal tax department of your countries. For sure, and I don't know the legislative part of your countries, but for sure it's requested in your IRS. And then we move on to the recordings and transferring the journal entries, which is the second procedure. And why is this important for me to tell you? Because at the end, if you have a small business, the transactions are not, the volume of transactions are not that elevated. Maybe you can do 1,000 transactions, but at an entity level, when there are even it's how it's called, SMEs, and even big companies, they record a volume of transactions of maybe millions of lines. On how they do, how are you able to manage that volume of transaction and interpret that and give me just one page of income statement in order for me to understand what are you doing as a business. So that's the important part. That's why it's important for you to understand that part. And the first topic is the source documents. I will explain a little bit of those. And then we move on to a practical case scenario where I will show you what it's a trial balance. Who can tell me what it's a trial balance? No, guys? Trial balance?
I mean, we have worked with it, but I'm not exactly what it is.
Okay. I will show you what it's a trial balance, how it's been created. And do you know what it's an ERP system?
We in our last accounting class, we use a trial balance so that we can get all the information, create the financial statements. So I assume it's where all the info is put in.
Okay. What I will show you in this class is how it's been done in an ERP or any accounting system, how it's been managed. The ERP, it's an enterprise resource planning, which is the basic software used in big companies, at least medium-sized companies, because ERPs are already very cheap. in the past, ERPs were very expensive. I don't know if you guys know SAP or Oracle, which they concentrate all the information related to financial transactions. They manage the inventory or the fixed asset module. And so in just one platform, you have like all the software in order for submit the operation and make an automatic pass through the financial accounting records. So that's why it's very important. These ERPs, it's not the purpose of the class, but now you get why it's important to understand the accounting cycle and how it's gonna be a practical focus towards your careers. And so I will show you how it's being created in any accounting system or ERP, how it's been recorded, and how it's been how you get the final result in meaning that you will create the final financial statements in this week in order for you for we can see the next week the consolidating aspects of the financial statement. So the first thing is that Arturo in here will request us to help Daniel in order to get him his financial statements to be done, because Daniel only has its bills, but not the accounting records, and he doesn't have anything. He just have bills, and that's it. Does that sounds familiar to you? Does anybody has requested an invoice?
Nope.
Yeah, me.
Yes.
And why do you request an invoice? Because the first document or the first source of documents that we will see is the invoice.
To back
Well,
up the
I don't know. Yeah, I think it's what David was saying, like to back up like to have evidence of what you did of that transaction. And I think later on, because I ordered them just because my dad tells me so that her accountant does like something with the taxers or something like that.
But why? And that's why I'm going even to the basics, guys, because I need you to understand the full cycle. I think this will give you the aha moment that yeah, that's why we request the invoice. But tell me why. Why do you think that? Okay, it's the evidence, but
it's because
tell me.
okay, sorry. That you gotta register your expenses and like you're using the money for what? I mean, the money of the company, you gotta use it for some things.
That's
In
one
case you're-
important aspect, yeah, for sure.
That's like a
That's an
justification.
evidence, no, for the transaction. Okay.
So
Great
later
thing.
on, you can justify the amount of taxes you're paying.
And it is requested for tax purposes. That's for sure. You can't make a deduction, meaning the basis for tax purposes are the incomes that you receive in your bank statement. Okay, but in order to for you to pay from your profit or losses, because you pay from your profit or loss account, if you don't want to pay from the income account and all the income to be taxable, you need to make a deduction for each expense. We know that income less expense gives you the profit, right? So in order to make that expense deductible for tax purposes, you need an invoice. So you have evidence of the transaction and tax compliance. Do we have another? Who can explain me what it's a purchase order? And all these are real elements, guys. This will for sure you will find them on every job that you have, and probably if you have your own company, you will have to you will need to submit or create invoices. You will receive invoices, and probably some of these papers. And that's why it's the important thing to show them to you. So what is a purchase order?
Is it like a thing that confirms like the price you're paying for service or product?
Exactly. It's kind of a quotation where you request your supplier, and it's very usual from suppliers in order to do business with another entity to before starting operations together. I will request you a lot of papers in order for me to know that you are a formal entity, that you are not in the IRS blacklist, that you, if I give you credit, you won't fly away in the first month. In order for me to know that the bank account that you are giving me, it's a real bank account and it's for your business, and it's not a Chonita bank account. Okay. So that's the first thing. You request all the papers from the supplier, and like the incorporation papers, bank statement, as I told you, for external purposes, financial statements. You can request them also, and many things, but those are the basic elements requested by suppliers. And once that you have figured out that process and that you're able to start doing business because it has the validation of the control departments of the entities, now you are able to submit and request purchase orders. And why? Because some of them maybe are requested with credit. I don't know if you have heard of the credit transactions, but it's very usual to request credit to your suppliers. Let me pay you in 30 days because my customers paid me in 30 days. Okay, perfect. So that's only the purpose. It's for you to don't have solvency issues. So the purchase order, it's a quotation in order for you to get the what you are purchasing, and then you will submit the invoice and you will receive the invoice. Okay, until here we are good. And the cash memo and credit memo, what are those? The ones that have the camera turned off. Daniel, can you tell me? You're very quiet always, Daniel.
Sorry, I'm really good in accounting.
What?
I'm not really good in finance.
No worries, no worries. I'm starting with the basics. I'm literally explaining you what it's been done in the real life.
Well, I guess I will quit the job.
No, you for sure you won't be accountants, but you need to learn these basics because at the end, as I told you, even if you are an employee, you will request invoices in order for you to deduct expenses that are deductible in order for you to pay less taxes. No, everybody
Right.
wants that. I think so. Or I don't know if you like to pay your money too. Okay. So what do you think it's the cash memo and the credit memo?
I don't really know.
You don't find your receipts once you pay something?
Yeah.
Those are.
Wow.
So at the end, guys, everything that gives you evidence of the transaction, it can be traced and documented. It will give you support to your transactions, because at the end, as Arturo said, and you will need, or David said, you will need to give evidence to your investors or to your business as yourself in order to conduct properly. And who can tell me what it's a debit and credit note?
So teacher, cash memo and credit memo are like tickets?
Yep.
Okay.
We are not really using them because at the end, the invoice, the invoice that we already have in Mexico, for example, and it's not in all the cases, and it's like it hasn't been implemented like in the United States, meaning that Mexico government it's a little bit more sophisticated in that part, and it's harder.
Really?
Yep.
Oh.
Yeah, because does anybody knows how it's been invoiced in the United States? You can even do an invoice via in an Excel, and that's it. But in here in Mexico, and I don't know if in the other places. Oh yeah, in Costa Rica, I for sure remember that they have like a folio per each invoice that will give you control of the invoicing. Is that correct, Marcelo? No?
But Marcelo is not from Costa Rica.
Yeah, right, no? Marcelo is
No.
from, no?
Marcelo
Sorry.
is from Nicaragua. Sebas is from Costa Rica.
Oh, sorry. I totally thought that it was, no, come on. David, come on. Those are not nice comments. Sorry, Marcelo. I thought that you were from Costa Rica. So Sebastián,
Marcelo, he's like mitad. His family is like from Costa Rica, so sometimes he visits. But
okay.
when I lived in Costa Rica, I was too young. Like I don't really know, to be honest. Like I don't know.
Wait. Okay. Well, the important part, sorry guys, the important part is that like here in Mexico, what we do in order for invoice, it's have a CFDI. That means it's like a financial, it's like a non-corruptible link. You have to request the IRS department that link because it's uncorruptible in order to create an invoice. And that sends a message to the IRS that you created an invoice for that amount to this supplier, and it even collects the information regarding what is the thing that you're buying. So basically, IRS or our Hacienda department has all the information and all the recordings from all the entities, because you need to create the invoices. Otherwise, you will not comply with the tax thing. You need to invoice all the transactions. And the debit and credit note, does anybody knows what it is? And did you get the idea of the invoice or the CFDI that I told you? Thumbs up? No? Thumbs down? This is hard for you guys? Okay, thumbs up. So debit and credit note.
It's like the T accounts, how to register the entrance of or outflow of money, like cargo y abono.
No, nothing related to that.
Or you mean like debit and credit with the T accounts, or debit or credit of the money you have and the money you're getting?
You have credit notes. You have debit or it's usually called credit note. When you invoice, for example, I invoiced one MOH, but at the end, the MOH has a deficiency, right? So it's fine for me to request, come on guys, I don't want, I pay you for a okay MOH, or I will give it you back so you can refund me, or give me a discount. If I paid $100 for it, give me a $10 discount. Are we okay with that? Or refund me for the whole thing, and I give you your bad month to you. So this is the purpose of the credit notes. As I already invoiced a MOG for $100 in order for me to avoid more transactions, what I do is submit a credit note telling you that I will give you a discount of $10. So the final transactions, combined those transactions, the invoice and the credit note, it will give you a $90 transaction. It's very common because imagine in huge operations where you send trailers to a CEDIS, which is a distribution center, imagine that you send the whole trailer and it has 1 million articles, and at the end you have 20 of them deficient. Do you send back the whole trailer for those because you needed to invoice all the what they requested you, or can we just do a credit note? Get it? Now you get it, guys? Good?
Yes, I thought you were talking about the T accounts that in English is like
No,
the
these are
Corona.
these are the
It's
support
complete, like
documents.
another thing. Yes,
These are the
another
source
thing.
documents, okay?
Yes, but very clear. At least for me, it's clear.
Perfect. And petty cash voucher, it is also a very common document in companies. Anybody who knows? No idea, guys?
For little transactions, for like 10 pesos, 15 pesos, you bought a bottle of water or something.
It's very
Office
usual to use
supplies.
them for those. So what you do usually is to imagine that you travel and you travel and you need to pay your food, right? Would you pay it from your salaries, or you will request money from the company?
Of course, we will request money for the company.
So what they do is give you a petty cash voucher in order for you to trade it for invoices that will support that you use that money for food for your business trip. Okay, so obviously what you do is submit both parts, the petty cash voucher and the invoices, for you to give more evidence that I gave cash money to Arturo in order for him to travel, and he submitted his invoices proving to myself that he used the money for the food in his business trip. Easy, right? And finally, we get to the bank documents and bank statements. Everything that I'm telling you, you will find them in your company or as an employee. You will request a petty cash voucher for you to travel. And this is the most important, the bank document. Because remember that I've been showing you how to, I gave you examples of records that I invested in my company and made a transfer to the company. So in order for me to don't write these transactions, because imagine that I have to give my accountant a whole history of the transactions that I do and has financial purposes. Imagine doing that. Nobody does that. So what we do is, the first thing is, give me your bank statement. The source of the accountants of the accounting information and the financial information is the bank statement. In the bank statement, you will get income and expenses. No, it's just 2 columns: debits, credits, income, expenses, as you want to see it. And obviously it has a little bit of description. They have some descriptions, and if you don't get it clear with the descriptions in the bank statement, obviously you request more information to the one that did the payment. In most cases, in businesses, the ones that does the payments are the treasuries. Okay. Does anybody know what it's a treasury department?
No.
The ones that like have the money, like, I don't know how to explain it, but yeah, the ones that are in charge of taking care of the money and doing the payments and everything, I think.
Yeah, on basics they are. On basics they are. But the purpose of a properly managed treasury department is to manage the cash flow. Remember, guys, that I told you that there are ways to earn from the funds that you have in your businesses, and that you track on a daily basis the cash flow of your company in order to have what you are receiving in cash on a daily basis and what you need to pay on a daily basis. So the treasury department administrates that cash flow. Okay. And if not, it should be you. for personal basis, it should be you. So we get to the recording and transferring. So the first thing, guys, you already know that you need to have documents for all the business operations. You learned the documents that you need to request as evidence of each transaction, and that you will need to submit to your accountant your bank statements. That's the first thing. So we're helping Daniel to create his accounting records and to prepare his financial statements. So we have already requested him his invoices, receipts, bank statements, and what's the next part? Recording. So let me share with you how it's been done. Do you guys see my screen?
Yes.
Are
Yes.
you watching the Excel?
Yes.
Yes.
So this is what I showed you guys. These are financial transactions. This is what I want you to deliver as a homework this week. I will do it with you at the beginning, but the final result or the financial statement, you will be delivering it, okay? So the first part, guys, is that this is a trial balance, a real trial balance. So as you might see, you have account numbers, accounts, the type of account, and amounts. This is how it's been managed in all accounting softwares or ERPs. So the first thing that your accountant will do is to submit this trial balance and create this trial balance according to your business needs. So in the trial balance, you have two types of accounts. You have grouping accounts and accounts per se. What this means is that you won't have records on these accounts because these are only for presentation purposes. Okay? But the real accounts or the ones that says account, you will be able to submit or create journal entries. Remember the ones that we were doing, like debit, credit, something like that? Guys, are you
Yes.
sleeping?
Yes.
Perfect. So this is the source of the financial statements. That's it. You will request to your accountants to give you a financial statement, and if they can't provide it, they will give you this, a trial balance. So they will create the trial balance. You won't need to do that, but I need to teach you how to properly, how it's being created, this type of journal entries in the ERPs or accounting systems, because at the end, when you get your trial balance, this will be the source. That didn't see, you didn't see that in your previous course, accounting course?
What thing?
What's the source of data in order for you to prepare financial statements?
No, not really. We only
I
saw
think not.
until the trial balance, and then we formed the statement from there.
Yeah, but he gave you the trial balance, right?
Yeah, yes, but we didn't really get an explanation as to what it is. We just knew it was there and how to transform it into a income statement or balance sheet.
Okay.
And also,
Well,
it was way different. Like, I'm getting confused because what we used to work with was like a big table, and it was a lot different than this format. So
I can show you an example.
yes, please show me.
Let
That'd
me
be nice.
Yes, give me 1 second.
What I'm telling you and what I'm showing you, it's the real thing. That's what we do on a usual basis. And even I go further, a little bit further, creating a trial balance. It's the first step to set up an ERP. I don't know if you guys have had interaction with ERPs, but it's a very usual, a common thing to have it in businesses. This is the way they administrate everything. And the ERP, basically, it's the most important system of the business because you have all the data in there. And even the implementation of an ERP, it's a very difficult thing, and it's very well paid for the analysts to start creating all the bases for ERP implementations. So I even said it in my presentation because it is very, very difficult to understand that part. But yeah, that's an accounting catalog. Mine, it's very basic.
Okay, then we had the initial balance and wait. Journal records, he gave us this, and yeah, and this was the initial balance with the catalogs from there. And we did this.
The journal records, okay.
And we recorded it in the trial balance.
Okay.
And then we did the statements.
That is what I wanted to do with you, but in 1 week. In how many time did you do that?
This was the final exam of our first accounting class.
And you did the Excels, but how you did it? See, if you
Oh,
didn't properly understand.
I don't know, it was putting formulas in here, just some if here, then it was some if in here. Everything is just formulas, so it wasn't really complicated. But I didn't get at what was a trial balance and why we used it and all of that.
And what do you think?
I have no idea.
You still don't have idea?
To record transactions.
Yes, that's it. It's to record transactions. It's to do what we were doing the final the first 2 weeks. That it was recording transactions, of meaning that that part that we did as exercises, like Enrique invested in a company and did a bank transfer. Okay, what should we register? A debit to the bank and a credit to the common stock, no? So in here, you have an account. Wait, let me show you.
Do I stop sharing now?
Yep.
Okay.
My trial balance is not that complicated because the important message is not for me for you to learn the journal entries. These are the basics. You can start doing and preparing financial statements. So if you know how to prepare them, you will learn how to read them and analyze them. That's the topic of the class. So remember, you have account, bank account, and common stock. Okay. The thing is that you have in a trial balance group accounts, because at the end you want to get this into an Excel and remove these accounts that has the information, but because you only want to present in your balance sheet the current assets and the amount of those. So what the ERP or the accounting system does is to add up everything that it's a current asset. Okay. And it will add up everything. If it's an asset account, it will add up everything that it is an asset. But you don't register in the grouping accounts. You register in the accounts per se. The system will won't let you or register in a grouping account. Okay. So as you might see, or you are watching my trial balance, it's very small, not as Arturo's one. But did you guys understand the purpose of the trial balance? That's what Arturo wasn't.
Wait, could you please repeat it?
The trial balance it's a chart of accounts, a list of accounts, or the financial accounts that you have in your company that always will comply with the needs of your company. I'm showing you a very basic chart of accounts or trial balance because this needs to be created for you to analyze properly in your business. For example, if you have multiple business lines, it's very usual to open an income account in order for you to track your B2C or your B2B business line. What is B2C or B2B?
So the thing of business to business and business to client, I think.
Yes. And B2B2C?
B2B2C, business to client.
Yeah. You can do also that kind of transactions, right? So the important part is that your trial balance will be submitted according to your needs. That's it. And this process is very, very important for you to understand, because this is the architecture of your financial information. Like I'm telling you, if you want to analyze business lines, you will need to find a way to incorporate that into your chart of accounts. You won't do it, but you have to be able to request that to your accountant. I need to analyze information per business line, per customer, per supplier, per department, because maybe I want to analyze expenses per department. Okay. And he will create this architecture of accounts in order to start recording on the journal entries. And this trial balance is what they use in order to create the financial statements, like Arturo showed in his Excel. Okay, so I want you to prepare a trial balance. You won't need to record things in the trial balance. What you do is to start in the journal entries of a business like Daniel introduced capital worth 8,000 in cash. Who can tell me what's the register for that?
Common stock and bank.
Common stock and bank. So you get to the bank account. You select the bank account according to your trial balance. You know that the account number 111 is bank account. And
I have a question. How do you put that thingy in an account number that you can just select the ones that you have?
I will show you. And obviously all the formulas that you showed me, Arturo, those are very basic formulas that you need to learn in Excel. For sure, guys. The important message from using Excel is not to use Excel. The important message for using Excel is to learn how to create databases. Yeah, do you know what's a database? Database is the key thing of everything, or in order to analyze key aspects of everything, from financial information, or you use it for data science, data analytics. You haven't heard of that? Perfect. So, Sebastian, I think you have your microphone muted if you're trying to speak.
Oh no, I was just gonna say that, I mean, of course I've heard of like database before, but just didn't know how to explain it, but yeah.
Yes, well, actually what I would do from an ERP, I actually consider myself as data analyst or data science. What I would do is extract the database from the ERP, meaning the journal entries database. And from that part, I start to analyze, applying things to the databases, which most of them you can do them on an Excel. But the thing is that you start to, when you have large amounts of data, meaning from big businesses, as I explained to you, where they have 1 million records, an Excel won't do the function. It's not sufficient in order to analyze 1 million lines. You have to move on to a more advanced software as Power BI. I don't know if you have heard it. It's one of the most common, or Tableau. But we can move on and further into that topic afterwards. But this is the database that we have to create, and this is the source of everything. You won't do it, your accountants will do it, but this is what they do. They select the account, they put the date of the transaction. They don't have the date in here, but let's assume that it's in 2021. This is what always, this is, I shouldn't have tell you that, but this is the most boring thing in accounting. Sorry, I'm an accountant. I have to do it. I don't do it. I don't personally do it. but I know how to do it because I need to correct my accountants in order if they get it wrong. But this is the source of everything, and this is what they do and what they are obligated to do as a bookkeeping process. So I just selected the account. Oh yeah, sorry, I didn't teach you how to do it. Let me erase it and show you how to. It's very easy. You have in here datos. Sorry, it's in Spanish, guys. I didn't prepare my Excel for the English class. But in here in datos, or for sure it says data in English, you have data validation. Okay, what you would do is select data validation, and in here you have allowed every value, or you can create a list, and you just submit the origin. The origin is just the column from which you will have to create your list. And this is the origin, the trial balance that I created. So right now you have in here all the number of the accounts. What they select is the number of accounts. For sure, like if you select this number, it gives you the account receivable account, and that's it. No? That's the process. You have a check in here because if you select a group account, it will give you an error. Actually, ERPs or accounting systems doesn't allow you to select grouping accounts. Look, it sends an error. You're not recording properly. So oh yeah, the first register. You have the bank account and the common stock, right? So you will need a description. The descriptions always help you to get to understand what they were trying to do. Sometimes you don't get it. This makes it easier, and that's it. So you will start recording all the transactions based on your bank statements. You will get your bank statements for sure. Imagine what will happen if Daniel introduced capital worth 8,000 to the company. First thing in my bank statement will be a deposit of 8,000, right? The same with purchase goods worth 2,000 in cash. What will appear in my bank statement? A cash payment, diminishing my bank balance, right? Inventory and banks. It was for 2,000, right? So guys, I gave you just like 15, 20, 19 transactions that are very easy. Please get them right. It's not the purpose today of for me to teach you how to record transactions, because you already know how to. Agree? So please, if you want to advance in your homework for this weekend, please finalize or finish this recordings, and the homework will be to create financial statements. You will need to create a balance sheet and an income statement. I'm not leaving you a cash flow or something like that, a little bit more advanced. Just the two first. Now you will get to know how to your accountant will record your information, what's the support that they need to create them, and how they need to prepare financial statements. Believe me, yeah, I know this is the boring classes, but by next week, well, we will learn how to consolidate. It's kind of a little bit of more fun, but then we can move on to the chapter, the books of the chapter, the chapter of the book, sorry. These are not included in the book. I will give you the links of the books because Andrea told me that it was you, know, Andrea, that you didn't find the book.
Yes.
I will give you links of the thing is that those are past editions, but I don't think that there's any issue, because at the end what they change are the problems per se, but as I'm giving you what are the problems in the homework assignment, you won't have any issue. So I will give you the links for the book. But this chapter, these 2 weeks are not included in the book. They requested that information in your syllabus. I know that you have seen it in previous classes. I'm explaining you the whole approach of why we need to understand this. This is the boring week, but believe me that next we will move on to great stuff. You will now be preparing for you to analyze and assess the financial wealth of your companies, meaning that you will tell if your company is a good one or it has solvency issues, and how many return you can give to your investors or to your creditors. Okay, that's the fun part, but first
Professor,
you need to learn the basics.
two
Yeah,
things.
David?
The first one, is this due for Monday or for when is
For
this
Sunday.
due? Sunday.
For
Okay.
Sunday. Yep.
Okay. And the second thing, can we have this machote?
No, I
The
will
one.
send it right now. Okay.
Okay, thank you. That
I
was
wanted
mine.
to explain it to you first. You have the business transactions in here, guys.
Okay.
And you need to create this type of journal entry. Please, I need you to get it wrong or right. I don't care. I need you to practice it. For me, if I see something wrong, I correct it from you. But then the important part is that from this, we will learn how to create the financial statement. Okay? You can help yourself, Arturo, with the Excel that you have. We will be doing the same with the SUMIF function in order to get the bank account balance in the balance sheet. Okay.
So in that document, do we do the financial statements?
That's the final part. If you want to get further to that, that's what it's gonna be due to until Monday. I told you that this was the homework for last week, but I think that there were not already explained all the aspects that I'm telling you right now, that the whole accounting cycle and how to support for each of these transactions, guys. For each, you need to have one support or the support of that transaction. So imagine that if you move how you can support that you did a common stock operation. I explained that to you, Andrea, last class. You have a bank transaction, no, in your bank statement that you receive the money, but that's it. That's the only evidence to support that. How you can support common stock operation? Do you see why it's important? And the same with the inventory. Well, you have a bank transaction that you can support with a bank statement operation or your cash receipt and the invoice of the purchase. Okay. And the common stock, you need to register the stocks with well, in here it's called notario in Mexico. No. Do you know what's a notario? Is that been how it's been said in all the countries, guys? Marcelo, yes. Sebastian, help me. Okay.
Yeah.
There is a public register of businesses where it says, yeah, this is a legal entity registered, and in there they also have who is the owner of that entity, who has submitted common stock. There is another type of stock, like it's called preferred stock, preferential stock. No, it's not the purpose of the class, but you have that's how it's been created. That's how you create a company and how it's been registered from a public source, which you can consult because you need to know with who you are doing business, right? Okay, guys, are you prepared for this? There are any questions? Did I make myself clear today?
Yes.
Yes.
Very clear, Professor.
Perfect, guys.